Tooth Fairy by Audrey Wood.
It was bedtime at Matthew and Jessica's house. The lights were out and all was quiet. Matthew and his older sister Jessica were lying in their beds, snuggled next to their teddy bears. Just as Jessica was about to drift off to sleep, suddenly Matthew startled the house.
Mother, come quick! I pulled a tooth!
Jessica sat up in her bed and looked at the shiny white tooth that Matthew was holding up. It was the very first tooth that he had ever lost, and in the moonlight of the room, it looked like a little star. After a moment, their mother came in, buttoning her bathrobe. She sat at the side of Matthew's bed.
Matthew, dear, how wonderful.
Tell me about the Tooth Fairy again, please.
Jessica knew all about the Tooth Fairy, but she was very jealous of Matthew. She stuck out her tongue at him.
Every night the Tooth Fairy flies about with her basket of goodies. Put your tooth under your pillow and she will swap it for some treasure.
Jessica covered her ears as her mother spoke, but Matthew imagined the beautiful Tooth Fairy flying through the air, scattering toys and treasures and fruit.
Good night, children. Sweet dreams.
She kissed Matthew and Jessica goodnight and left the room. But Jessica was cross.
It's not fair. I want treasure too.
Just then, Jessica hopped out of bed.
And I'm going to get some.
But Jessica, you know the Tooth Fairy can't swap for treasure unless you lose a tooth.
Don't worry about the Tooth Fairy. I'll show her who's boss.
Jessica marched out of the room and into the kitchen. She opened the refrigerator door and discovered some corn. Matthew followed her into the kitchen.
Aha! Just what I need. A kernel of corn. A little paint makes it look like a real tooth.
Jessica painted the little kernel of corn with her school paint set.
That should do the trick.
They both went to bed.
It won't work, Jessica.
Matthew hugged his bear, and Jessica smiled.
Nighty-night, Matthew.
They went to sleep. Sometime in the wee hours of the night, Jessica heard a little tinkling sound. Lights twinkled beside her pillow.
Jessica, wake up.
Jessica felt tingling all over. She looked around the room, and she saw that her little teddy bear was now much bigger than she was.
Oh, no! I've shrunk! Wake up, Matthew! You've shrunk, too!
Matthew was no bigger than a mouse.
Jessica, what have you done now?
Suddenly, a beautiful fairy with pink butterfly wings appeared above them in a shower of lights. She was holding 2 teeth.
Greetings, children. I'm the Tooth Fairy. Look what I found under your pillows.
Jessica thought to herself.
It worked. She thinks the corn is my tooth.
The Tooth Fairy came over to Matthew.
Why do you swap treasure for teeth?
I'll show you. Just hold my hands and I'll say the magic words. Loose tooth away.
Then, magically, they were standing in front of a wonderful palace.
Welcome to the Tooth Fairy's palace.
Magnificent towers and spires sparkled before them. Colored flags fluttered in the night sky, and dozens of little elves, all dressed in pink, greeted them, cheering and waving little yellow flags.
Bridges, walls, towers.
All made of teeth.
Matthew and Jessica saw a group of tooth elves busily at work.
Every night, we tooth elves build a little more.
The Tooth Fairy escorted them into a great gleaming room full of round tables with different children's names on them. A single white tooth sat on the top of each one.
This is the hall of perfect teeth. Only the cleanest and brightest go here.
And with that, she placed Matthew's shiny white tooth on the top of a round table with his name on
My perfect tooth.
I suppose my tooth goes here, too.
it. The Tooth Fairy looked down at the tooth that Jessica had made from the kernel of corn.
Come, Jessica. This one needs work. all dirty yellow teeth must go to the Tooth Dungeon.
The Tooth Fairy led Matthew and Jessica down a long, winding road into a vast cavern where hundreds of bright yellow robots were cleaning teeth.
We robot tooth cleaners boil them in the bubbling bath, then we scrub them until they shine like stars.
Jessica swallowed hard. Then one of the robots took Jessica's tooth from the Tooth Fairy.
Now we will clean Jessica's tooth.
And he dropped the tooth into the bubbling bath. Suddenly, a siren went off.
Your tooth is a fake. We must put you in jail.
The Tooth Fairy grabbed Matthew and Jessica by the hand as the robots started marching towards them.
Hurry, children! The robots don't like tricks!
Jessica and Matthew ran as fast as they could. The fairy threw them a rope to climb to safety.
Quick, you'll be safe here.
First, Matthew climbed up the rope. Then Jessica pulled herself up just in time to get away from the robots.
Now, up the slide. It's time for you to leave.
Now that they were safe inside the tower, Jessica began to cry.
I never should have done it. Cheer up, Jessica. I'm sure you'll lose a real tooth soon. And you'll still swap me treasure? Of course. And you'll put my tooth in the Hall of Perfect Teeth like Matthew's? I won't know until I see it. Goodbye, children. Say the magic words as you go down the slide. Loose tooth away!
And around, down, Matthew and Jessica slid, right through the night sky, into their beds. They soon fell fast asleep.
Jessica, wake up. It's morning. The Tooth Fairy left me some treasure.
Sure enough, the Tooth Fairy had left Matthew an apple, a toy truck, a yo-yo, and a whistle. But nothing for Jessica.
Don't be sad. Here, have a bite of my apple.
Jessica took a bite of the red apple. Crunch! Then she suddenly smiled and pointed to one of her teeth.
Mother, come quick! I've got a loose tooth!
Jessica ran to the bathroom and began brushing her teeth with lots of toothpaste.
Shall I tell you about the Tooth Fairy again?
Jessica looked in the bathroom mirror and smiled.
You don't need to, Mother. I know all about it. This one is going to the Hall of Perfect Teeth.